2012 Summer Olympics in London, USA hurdler Lashinda Demus finished 0.07 seconds behind a Russian opponent who everyone found out later was doping. Well, the gold medal was stripped from Russia, and now, 12 years later, Demus will get the gold. I spoke with the Long Beach native about how much she lost and overcame to get the gold medal she deserves.
We're back at Olympic Stadium, the women's 400-meter hurdle final. Lashinda Demus in 7th. There's the gun, and Lashinda Demus already is off to a blazing start. Home straightaway. Antuk and Demus are side by side. Coming down to the finish line, lean, and Antuk holds off Demus for the gold. And you see the disappointment on her face.
I just wanted the gold so bad, but I will not stop until I get the gold medal.
Describe what that moment was like when you lost that race.
I went back to the hotel that night. I think I cried for a couple hours. They say you won the silver, and I'm like, I lost the gold.
Olympic hurdler and Long Beach native Lashinda Demus received the silver medal during the 2012 London Games. But less than 4 years later, things changed.
Investigators from the World Anti-Doping Agency are laying out massive evidence of Russian doping efforts.
The Russian government is accused of helping its Olympic track and field athletes cheat.
Natalia Antuk, who beat Demus for gold, was one of the Russian athletes caught for doping. Her medal was stripped, and now, after 12 years, Demus will get the gold.
It feels like justice. That's what I would say. I always say I did not feel like, yay, but I did have closure.
Demus will receive the medal during the Paris Olympics this summer. This will be the first time the International Olympic Committee has held a reallocation ceremony at the Summer Games. At one point, did you ever feel like you weren't going to get this gold medal back?
At one point, I didn't care to get it.
Why is that?
Because I never felt like the winner. It was a loss for me. So it's even hard to this day to accept, like, you are the new gold medalist. I accept it because I was fair, I was clean, I deserve it, right? But it's still hard to just do the victory lap.
These days, Demus is back on the track coaching at Culver City High School.
All right, cool down. Walk one, jog one.
And 2 of her 4 sons who were there that day at the Olympic Games in London are now on the team. You ever think about how much you've missed out on because of someone cheating?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in my mind, it's easily in the 7 figures.
Wow.
Easily.
The Russian hurdler who finished first got in trouble for doping. If she was here, what would you say to her?
You were good enough. I'm not angry. I don't want to fight her. I'm angry at what happened. But for me to be where I am right now, I cannot be angry at her anymore. I cannot.
Are you at peace yet?
I'm definitely at peace. I'm at peace. That's the only way that I'm here right now. I had to put it to bed.
Believe that athletes, high school athletes, should be drug tested. And you know, this is me coming back from the Arcadia Invitational and watching all the performances and great performances. And I'll just recall not seeing so many fast times. I'm talking about people that could step into the professional realm and be able to compete. Like, I've never seen this many people do that in high school. So I'm like, well, if we have all these kids that are pretty much capable of running professional and have these professional marks, we probably need to start testing earlier, because they potentially will be people that can make the national teams. So it seems like the right way to go about it, because I would hate for any athlete to go through what I just went through, being that I received the gold medal 12 years after competing in the Olympic Games. Because the fact of the matter is, it's way more on the line for high school athletes. Like, you have kids coming out with the nil money, and it's harder to get high school kids into these D1 schools. And I think one of the things that I would like to see is at these big invitationals that high school kids run in, that we incorporate some drug testing. I think that it's necessary. It's very necessary now. This is the most I've seen out of this world talent in high school in my whole life. You know, you might have seen talent like this once every 10 to 15 years. this is every single year. So that's my little 2 cents. I haven't completely, thought about this all the way out where I like have an action plan or anything, but I was just thinking like, you know what? I think now's the time to put this into action because we have more and more high school athletes that are becoming professional faster. I said that was the last video, but I just thought of something. Swear to God, I just thought of it right now. So maybe, how about once an athlete breaks a certain threshold in time or whatever that is for any given sport, they are now on the list to get tested. How does that sound? So if we have, let's just use a 100-meter runner. If we have a high school 100-meter runner that runs under 10.3, maybe that should be somebody that goes in the pool. If we have a high school 400 runner that runs under 45.5, maybe 45 seconds, 45 low, whatever, they might be in the pool. Something like that. We need to think of something, but I thought that was a good idea though. So I was like, let me just hit y'all up with this real quick. It's in the brain.
What's up, everybody? This is Mr. 100K a day with another episode of the biggest hater in track and field. Today, we're going to be talking about Lashinda Demus and her recent comments about high school track and field athletes who are talented being drug tested when they are running fast. I don't agree with her. I think she's a hater. I think she was an athlete who ran in the sprinter's graveyard, the 400-meter hurdles. And she wasn't never talented on the professional though to begin with. The event that she ran as a professional was an event that was a trash event that only the worst sprinters go into because they can't really thrive in any other event. And I think that's where her mindset is. Since she wasn't that talented herself, she's looking to always criticize the performance of others and make it seem like that they're cheating. Yeah, the Russians have known to be cheaters back from the 80s and the 70s. The Germans, the Eastern Europeans, everybody know that they were cheaters. So, yeah, maybe she got cheated out of that gold medal back in 2012. But that's not to say she wasn't cheating herself. You know, if you look at her picture, she had a lot of acne on her face. She had braces, and she was, pushing into her early 30s, late 20s, early 30s at that point. Why would a woman who's in her late 20s, early 30s have to need those things? Usually, acne and braces are a telltale sign of a woman who's using drugs, human growth hormone or some sort of steroid, something that throws her hormones off. That's just the truth. Now, I'm not saying she was, but what I am saying is that the signs are there. Maybe she just got away. The Russian girl, I don't know if she ever got caught. I think they just uncovered doping. I think she got caught maybe from an analytical positive, not necessarily from testing positive. They may have found evidence that she had cheated. So, Lashinda Demus, just because she didn't test positive don't mean she wasn't a drug user. But the fact of the matter is that I think she's way out of line trying to talk about high school athletes who are getting this money now. All of a sudden, they should be drug tested. She's talking about the NIL money and how there's a lot more money on the line. I think she's to mind her business. When you check her resume, you start to see that she accused her husband of choking her and abusing her just years ago. Her own sons, twin sons that she had when she was in her early 20s, when she was moving towards the peak of her career and she was doing good. Those are things that she needs to focus on, not other people's track and field careers and finding ways to criticize them or find chinks in their armor to indicate that they're cheating, not the youth. I think it's extremely hypocritical of her. If she didn't stand up with the people that she was competing against at the time or competing with back in her day and find that they were cheating or look into that, she shouldn't try to do it against the youth right now. I think she's way out of line. I believe the real central nucleus part of her reasoning for going against youth athletes is the fact that she's probably broke, living in LA, high prices on everything. And she had to recently do a GoFundMe just to go to Paris to get her gold medal that she, picked up. They reallocated the medal that she did not get in 2012 since the girl got disqualified. They gave her the medal in Paris. So this is the GoFundMe that she put up in order to fly herself and her family out to get the gold medal and let her family be seen. So her money probably isn't right. And she got to put a GoFundMe up just to fly her own family out. And she's an Olympic gold medalist. Top athlete for years she was. So this is what she put up. She put up I guess this is after the money had already been posted. She raised $22,700 to go to Paris. She said, "Your response to my GoFundMe page has been truly overwhelming. As someone who has always put family first, your generosity has touched not just me, but my entire family in ways I can't begin to express. Thanks to your incredible support, my dream of going to Paris is transforming into an even more magical experience. My parents and several members of my extended family will now be able to join me on this incredible journey. The thought of my mom, Yolanda, by my side in Paris fills me with joy. She was my coach in London, and now she'll be there to witness this momentous occasion. The same with my dad, who has been with me every step of the way. Your kindness has turned into a personal achievement and has turned a personal achievement into a family celebration. The idea of receiving my gold medal in Paris, surrounded by the people who I love most, is becoming a beautiful reality. It's a dream come true in every sense. When the gold medal was put around my neck in Champions Park at the Olympic Games, Paris 2024, beneath the backdrop of the Eiffel Tower on August 9th, I, U.S. Olympian Lashinda Demus, will finally kiss my medal as the champion of the 400-meter hurdles race from the Olympic Games 2012. London 2012. This will be the first ever medal reallocation ceremony held in the Olympic Games. Since accepting the silver medal at the London Olympic Games, I have fought for the gold medal that was rightfully mine. As a married mother of 4, I have worked relentlessly with the IOC since October 2022 for this moment for glory for all. Finally receiving the gold medal in Paris at the Olympics is a dream come true, but the IOC and the USOPC were only able to partially fund this trip of a lifetime for my family and I, including my 4 sons. This is where you have come in. No gift is too small. We are using this money for airfare, meals, hotel, and Olympic tickets when we travel to Paris. We appreciate your donation, and we can't wait to get to Paris to get that gold medal. Once again, thank you for your generous donations and unwavering support. You've not only contributed to my journey, but also help create lasting memories for my entire family. I'm beyond excited to step into that podium in Paris, knowing that this incredible moment is made possible by your heartwarming generosity. So yeah, she's broke. She got to reach out to the public in order to get, to get funding for her family to travel to Paris. She just broke. That's all it is. That's all it come down to. That's why she want to hate on current athletes now who are doing their thing in the youth. She not hating on adult athletes who cheat. She want to hate on the kids before they even get a chance to become good. And I think that's pathetic on her part. And I think this is why men need to abandon women like her. These nappy heads have a bitterness and hate in their heart. That's why as they move into 50s and 60 years old, usually they're alone. And men, black men, are typically running from these type of women in flocks. She accused her current husband. She accused him of strangling her and hurting her and all these things, and she's still with him and had multiple more children with him. So yeah, this woman is completely delusional, and I think that it's best that we completely do not take her advice, do not support any of her ideas in this sport. It's crazy. She's about the same age as Lolo Jones and Sonia Richards-Ross. A lot of those girls were her contemporaries when she was competing. A lot of them. Why couldn't she reach out to her friends and say, "Hey man, fund my trip"? Why couldn't she reach out to some of her friends in this? She had to reach out to the public. She didn't want to. These athletes didn't want to cater to the fans when they're competing. They act like everything's supposed to be about them and not about the fans. Making the fans happy, then we'll make the athletes happy. They don't look at it like that. But now when they're old and broke and can't even afford their own trip to Paris for them and their family to get their gold medal, now they want to reach back out to the public and beg for money. Completely delusional. And I think this is why she ended up where she ended up. And I hate the fact that the Russian girl even got busted, because this girl didn't even deliver the gold medal anyway, even with the gold medal going to the Russian girl originally from cheating. Just my 2 cents. So yeah, she could focus on her husband now, who she accused of abusing her, and focus on the kids that she have. She has 4 kids. Her twin boys didn't amount to be anything in high school. They're graduating this year. They aren't top athletes. So I think that that's probably where a lot of her bitterness lies also. The fact that, after being cheated out of her 400-meter hurdle gold medal, her twin sons graduating high school this year and not really accomplishing anything. Now she wants to try to find ways to hate on other people's kids who are doing better than hers. So she needs to realize she didn't have good genetics to begin with. She was in the sprinter's graveyard, and she was just barely getting by in track and field. So that's just my opinion. Tell me what you guys think. You know, is she out of line? Should high school athletes be tested? I don't think they should. I think they should continue to compete. Only get tested when you have to go to those meets that require testing. I think it's absolutely unnecessary because the overwhelming majority of high school athletes are not even eligible, and I don't think they should be put into the pool. There's no reason to put them to higher standards than everybody else just because they start performing well. So, yeah, poor idea by a poor woman in a poor sport who has no clue what she's talking about. Till next time, y'all. This is Mr. 100K a day, the biggest hater in track and field. Peace.